it becomes different, bro. Like, not being understood, the level of work that needs to get done in order to get to that high. You can't call out on your dream.
I don't want to change the world. I know I can't, but I know I can create the world I want to live in.
Going after the dream, I fucked around and fell in love with the grind.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Glamorous Grind Podcast with one of your hosts, Mink Media, Sal, and of course, we got Roy, Remedies, Coach R.
Hey, what up, everybody? This is Coach R. This is Coach Roy. Now, listen, I'm honored to be on this table with high-quality individuals like yourself, so definitely, I'm excited for this one.
And of course, we have the man on the mission, Coach Al.
That is right, man. What is up, everybody? You know we cannot do this without our people having our back, our people who are out there living the dream, the glamorous grind, right? Our sponsors. Let's give it a quick shout out to XL Realty and Mortgage. Hit up my boy Ruben, man. You're thinking about buying a house. You want to sell it, refinance it, have a question. Do you qualify? Hit my boy up. He's got you. Of course, Nourish Bar 831, whether you're going 101 North, 101 South, stop by. Check out Nourish Bar 831. Of course, we've got to say what's up to G'd Up. Super Greens, our very own blend. Getting you right, man. We're looking to hook you up. We want to see you win, people. Get your life together, man. Results Transformation Center in West Sacramento, Yolo County. My boy Matt has been impacting lives, changing lives. And by the way, the vibe at Results is where it's at, yo. And of course, our newest sponsor, A1 Plumbing and Drains. What do they say? Wash your worries away. That's their thing, man. That's their thing. Yo, fellas. You know, when we're talking about coaching, when we're talking about impacting, when we're talking about somebody who is driven by purpose, somebody who is grounded, somebody who came in with energy and just carries that through. I've got to say, I said, how's your day going? And he said, even if it was bad, why would I tell you? Right? Like right off the bat, that was my introduction to my homeboy, to my spiritual brother. I'm talking about this individual is an award-winning football coach. He's an educator, TEDx talk speaker. One day I'm gonna get there. We're talking about a keynote speaker, a two-time best-selling author, an international best-seller. He was also recognized by the U.S. Marine Corps. Semper Fi Coach Award in Northern California. And I'm not done. He was also recognized by KSBW Action News. He received the Golden Whistle Award. I'm talking about the one, you're getting ready to press that button. I'm talking about the one and only Art Coach Berlanga. Let's go. Teamwork, baby. Teamwork.
Yeah, that's right.
Hermano, how we doing, my brother?
Pleasure, man.
Man, it is incredible to be in your presence. It is incredible to be in your presence.
Coach, that's right. First time, brother. That's right. That's right.
And he's doing good, because if he wasn't, why would he tell you? Yeah, exactly. I'm going to start using that. I got to say, the way this happened, by the way, there was just this buzz. Your name came up at least 2-3 times where you're like, who I need to, who you need to connect. It just kept happening. So I'm glad we were able to reach out to each other and connect and make this just happen. I think it takes people to take initiative. Yeah. There's overthinkers. I always say overthinking doesn't make you smarter. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the benefit of it is. You're definitely somebody who doesn't come off as an overthinker or a procrastinator or or too busy, right? Or too busy. So thank you for making time, brother.
No problem, man. My pleasure.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's start with the first question.
Yeah.
Who is Art?
I'm a God-fearing man, first and foremost. I'm a man of faith. I'm a man who gets on his knees and thanks the Lord above for everything that I'd have and everything that I'm about to accomplish through him. That's who I am, first off, right? My creator. I'm a reflection of him. I told Coach Al through text messages, hey, man, he said, hey, I heard you connected with my boy, Coach Terry at Hartnell College.
Yep, Coach Terry.
Yeah,
we were just
women's basketball coach. Yes, sir.
Yep.
And you mentioned that to me. I was like, hey, man, to know me is to know him. And what I mean by that is anytime you're in my presence or anytime I'm in your presence, I really hope that I reflect the love of the Lord that he commanded us to do, right? Because of how I treat people and love on other people, they're like, man, there's something different about that dude, man. Like, what is it? And I've been asked that many times.
Yeah.
Many times. And I'm just a disciple of him. What they're seeing is his love, his compassion through me, and I'm just giving it to everyone who I come across, right?
Amen.
Wow.
So first and foremost, that man, I'm a devoted husband, present father, a father of 2. My son just turned 8 years old just on January 9th. I just celebrated my 12th wedding anniversary on the 5th of this month.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Hit that button, man. Hit that button. We want to make sure. We want to make sure.
Yeah, man.
Teamwork. That's the real team right there, bro. That's the real team. I don't believe it.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
and that's just who I am, man. I'm a person who I don't have to go through hard times to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to go through the mud to find the clear water. You know what I mean? I can observe, I can watch, I can learn from your mistakes, or I can learn from your successes and mimic those and emulate those, right? Whatever helped you become successful and how you went about your business, and I like it, I'm a fan of it, and I love it, I'm going to mimic it, right? Success always leaves clues.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to put those clues together.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man, that's kind of, in a nutshell, I guess, briefly, that's who I like to think that people would say about who I am. Absolutely. Because they say this. You really want to know what kind of person you really are? Let's hear what your wife and your children say at your funeral. Then we'll find out what kind of man you really are.
Yeah.
You might be beloved by the community and be hated at home. You know what I mean?
Your credit score at home ain't
That's
doing
right.
so good. That's real,
Beautiful.
man.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's
So
100.
let's go here. That voice. Let's just go right off the bat. That voice, that power in you. When did it start? And where's it coming from?
Hey, great question, man. Believe it or not, I'm actually a pretty introverted guy, to be quite honest with you. I'm very reserved. I wouldn't say shy, because reserved is, if you speak to me, I'm going to speak back.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not going to go out of my way to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not shy, but reserved. I wasn't a big speaker. I play sports, of course, always been a team captain in pretty much every sport I played on, or at every level, especially within football. I always kind of seen as that leadership guy, that leader guy, team guy. And it wasn't until my senior year in college, it was actually 2006. My college English professor. So I majored in English literature in college, right?
Okay.
Which I had no business doing. The way I picked my major was I looked at my transcripts, because I really want to be a firefighter like my dad. My dad was a firefighter, City Salinas.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's go.
And I looked at my transcripts, so they didn't offer that fire science program right at school. So I looked at my transcripts, I was like, man, what grades did I get the best? What class did I get the best grades in? So I'm just looking through it, scanning through it. It's like English A, English B. I guess I'll major in English. That's how I picked my major.
Yeah.
Smart.
And I was like, well, if having success now, then why couldn't I continue the success at the next level or at the next school? So my English professor, man, like I mentioned before, I was really reserved, pretty quiet, and I would always lose points on class participation. I would never participate in class.
Okay.
So anytime we had a reading the night before, or a presentation, or whatever it may be, where we had to talk about it in class, that's all we did. The class was the upper level classes anyway, juniors and seniors. It was all class discussions, man. That's all it was. Like, let's talk about what we read last night, and let's put sense to it. And any questions, you want to challenge it, whatever. I wouldn't say a word. And they asked me, hey, Art, you want to add anything? I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one specific teacher, shout out to Dr. Neal, who I have yet to get in contact with, but I don't know if she's alive still anymore. You know what I mean? She was a little older in age, but
What college?
Colorado Mesa University in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So one day I get to class and she says, hey, can I speak with you after class today? I was like, yeah, of course. And of course, all of us who've ever been asked that question by a teacher, we thought, well, we were in trouble. We did something wrong. And as a last student exited class, at the end of class, she comes up to me and says, hey, Art, how come you don't participate in my class discussions? And I sat there kind of shook, right? Like, because no teacher's ever held me accountable that way, right? No teacher has ever talked to me and told me, hey, stay after class, I need to talk to you. And I sat there had no confidence in myself, right? Kind of put my head down, very insecure, and very vulnerable in that moment, right? And I remember saying to her, looking up Dr. Neal, I don't have the confidence to speak. I don't think I have anything to add to the class. And I don't think I'm as smart as everybody in this class. I really don't. And she said to me with a very stern voice, you couldn't be more wrong. She says, I've read your body of work. I've read the things you have turned into me. And you have a voice. You have a voice. And it's time for you to start sharing that voice. That's what she told me, man. Straight to my face. I was like, gosh, dang, okay. So I leave the class. I walk into my car, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to drop her class.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop it.
She's tripping.
And the reason why is because she said to me before I left that day, she said, be prepared to speak at the next class session. So she was going to make me speak. And I was like, I'm not going to speak. I'd rather drop the class than speak. That's how terrified I was of speaking in front of people, right? So she was the one that planted the seed, man. She was the one that by the way, I did not drop the class. I passed with an A and did very well. But she's the one that helped me find my voice, man. Like, just made me believe that I was smarter. I was much more than just a football player. You know what I mean? I was much more than just football and sports and athletics. I was actually articulate. I was intellectual. I could speak eloquently, whether I knew it or not. So what I did was I borrowed her belief that she had in me, and I believed that belief until mine kicked in.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes somebody, and you said stern voice, meaning she had set the edge and it was your call, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you could have dropped and this could have gone somewhere else, or, you know, you met the challenge. You met the challenge at that point. So talk to us about, let's go. What was it like growing up, man? How many brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
What did you have both parents in your life?
Yeah.
What was it like growing up?
I'm a kid from Soledad, California. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina with my identical twin brother. I have an identical twin brother. We're 2 minutes apart. I'm older by the 2 minutes. I have two sisters, and one of those sisters is our youngest sister, and we're 18 years apart. She was born when I was about to graduate the spring of March of 2001. She was born. And then I have a little brother who is 4 years younger, and there's 5 of us total.
Okay.
Right. My dad's a military guy. He grew up here in Salinas. Was born in Lubbock, Texas. He was a first generation Mexican American. He worked in the him and my uncles, man, backbreaking work. Worked in the cotton fields in Lubbock. My grandfather took the family, migrated to Salinas, worked in the fields. Right. So I come from a migrant family. Right. And then my dad went off after graduating from North Salinas High School in '77, and was stationed on the island of Guam. He enlisted in the Navy. Met my mom in Guam. He was stationed in South Carolina, and then boom, twin boys.
There you go.
1983, 80s baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then after the rest is history, man. This group in Soledad, I didn't get introduced to sports and probably until 4th grade. There was this teacher who just brought basketballs out, and we would play basketball before school would start. And that's where I was introduced to basketball. And basketball is actually, believe it or not, this shocks some people when I say this, basketball was my first love. Yeah, basketball was a sport that I really was passionate about. I spent more time in playing basketball, practicing basketball, working on skills in basketball than I ever did in football. But yeah, I went farther in football, right? I was just natural at it, right? So, a student athlete, man. First, my twin brother Frankie and I were the first ones to go to 4-year schools, get some money to pay for school because of football. Both graduated from college, and first ones in our family to do that as well. So he was the first graduate. I came after him shortly after, graduated from college as well, and I went on, continued, got my master's degree. So there was just so many barriers that were broken through this whole process, right? Within our family dynamic, my mom comes from a small island of Guam, where just making it off the island, right, and getting to the mainland here in America is a success story, right? So I just come from a humble beginnings, man, that have not forgotten about those beginnings, and I used it, and I faced every challenge that came my way. I'm a guy that you're going to knock me down, man. I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to keep coming forward, right? And you got to take me out for me to stop. That's just kind of the mentality that I got.
Yeah.
I was kind of had this chip on my shoulder when it came to sports, just because I was always the smallest guy on the field usually, especially when I got to college football. I was always the smallest dude on the field, right? So I had to earn my keep, man. I had to earn my way. And I was going to be no punk, you know what I mean? I'm going to hold my own. And especially where I come from, if you show any kind of weakness, man, they're going to eat you alive. We all know that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, just a guy who went after what he wanted. I had goals in life. I had things I wanted to accomplish. I wrote them down, and I went after them. That's it.
How do you think you picked up that mentality? Like that mentality of goal setting? Did that come natural? Like goal setting, going after the drive? Did you see it in your household? Was it something you saw on television? Was something that just it was in you?
Yeah.
Where's that drive, that fuel?
Great question, man. I don't remember seeing it ever because my dad was so busy just working, right? Just for being a firefighter. He's on for 48 hours. He's off for 48 hours. He's got 4-day breaks or whatever it may be. But he works 24 hours, in the day. And as far as that goal setting, no, I didn't, man. I remember seeing my dad study for tests because he wanted to become a captain. I remember seeing that. He never did accomplish that, but I remember seeing that work ethic and that sacrifice because he wasn't a strong reader, man. Like he couldn't really read that well, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And he just kept plugging away, man. And I think, and I look back and reflect, I remember being in middle school, and I remember I was a big fan of Allen Iverson at that time, right? Georgetown.
Yeah.
Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson from the University of North Carolina. And I remember writing my stats down on a computer and then printing them out. I want to average this amount of points, this amount of assists, these rebounds, these steals. I would and what I want to, how many threes I made. I would write that out every single year and I wasn't even on a team. I wasn't even playing competitively. You know what I mean? But I had these stats that I wanted to accomplish. Like, gosh, okay. And that's just how it kind of started, man. And then when I got to high school, same thing. Every week I had goals. You know, I have this amount of catches, these amount of tackles, these amount of interceptions. Just something I just did.
So you would say, I was just having this conversation with Alisal High School with the girls, like the sanctuary, the court being the sanctuary. It sounds like sports kept you in these, you know, small incremental goals.
Yes.
You know, just focus on that, on that small goal, that small stat in a sense, right? And then year after year after year, it just kept you going back to the sport. Is that? Would you say for you experienced that the court, the field was sort of that space for you to just kind of find you, be you?
Absolutely. I think just it's a form of creativity, right? A form of personal expression through athletic performance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a form of expression, right? Some people sing, some people read, some people write poetry, some people dance.
Yeah.
Well, I dance in a football field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kind of found my outlet, and I love the grind. That's one thing about me. I think that made me different from everybody else that I was either with or had in common with other guys who were overachievers as well, was that I love the work, man, or I love the grind.
Yeah.
As the title
process,
of the podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Getting closest to death.
I kid you not. I don't know. And again, I don't know where this work ethic came from. I guess, like, obviously I got it from my parents, right? Because I was around it every single day. But my brother and I we were a team. Right? My best friend growing up, and we just went after it. Like, look, man, we want to play college football. Let's attack this thing together. You know what I mean? And then when he wasn't feeling it one day, hey, get you up. Let's go, man. I'm leaving you if you ain't coming. And I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
Oh, heck no. And then he's getting up.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So I had that constant accountability partner, right? That constant brother's keeper.
Iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, man. And we never wavered, man. Our unwavering faith, right? Undeniable belief we had in ourselves and in each other, and we wanted to accomplish it together. And that's exactly what we did, man, and how we went about it. So
that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Wow. I got a question for like when you were back in fourth grade, when you first found basketball, you started playing basketball, you know, before school. Did you find your form of expression by competing at that age, or did you have to start? Did you know that this was it right here when you first started shooting, or did you kind of fall in love with the sport and then found yourself through or was there like a sharp click?
That's a great question. I just think it was something I really enjoyed. I always wanted to play it, to the point where our dad bought us a basketball hoop to have on our roof, and installed it on our roof, and we play out there all day long, man. Yeah. All weekend till nighttime. Yeah. He will put floodlights on the driveway just so we can play and shoot at night.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we just loved it.
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, man.
Pops doing his part, right? Because see, a lot of people, you know, especially nowadays, job, obviously the workforce has changed. But when Dad had to go away to provide, still thinking of the details of how to keep you engaged and how to keep you in line, in the sense of knowing that you are pouring your energy into something.
Right.
So that's a beautiful thing. Let me ask you this question. So I ask this, especially when I hear somebody talk about their parents and kind of where did you get certain traits from?
Yeah.
So think about your mom, think about your dad. What positive and negative trait do you have from each of them? So when you say positive trait, I got this from my dad. I'm kind of like this, and this is the challenging one from my dad. And then same thing with moms. Hey, come over here. Hey, have you heard? Of course you've heard of this spot. 831, baby. Nourish Bar is the spot to go to. Whether you are on 101 North or 101 South, or you're in Monterey County, Soledad, King City, Greenfield, Salinas, the spot you need to stop at is Nourish Bar 831. Get your protein smoothies, get your protein donuts, get your energy tea. hit them up at nourishbar.831 at Instagram. Check out all the goodies that they have. Hit up my people, man. Nourish Bar 831 is the spot.
If you're anything like me, making big decisions can be super intimidating. One of those decisions is like buying a house. You see memes about it, TikToks about it, Instagram reels about it, and while everyone is asking where do I start, I like to begin with who do I trust. And that is with Ruben Venegas at XL Realty and Mortgage. This is someone I personally know and trust with over 25 years in the game. He's helped hundreds of people with their real estate needs from buying, flipping, and investing. Whether you're ready or curious, this is the guy to call. Ruben Venegas at XL Realty and Mortgage, 916-206-9616.
It's funny you ask that because I've learned more about this since I've become a parent.
Okay.
Then,
There you go.
There's just something about when you become a parent, man, you learn things about your own parents that you had no idea.
Okay.
Because now it's you making those decisions,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's you that your children are mimicking
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day, right? So
Yeah.
looking back, like my dad, one of the more positive, funny ones that my wife will get a kick out of, and my mom, is that when we eat sunflower seeds, we always leave a trail in our chest, right? Or when we were driving and we were traveling, we don't stop unless it's for gas. We're not stopping to pee. We're not stopping to eat. We're driving through till we
It's
get
not an
gas.
experience. This is a straight shot.
That's right, man. And
On a mission.
And my wife makes fun of me because of that, right? Because I do the exact same thing, and I get so irritated and cranky when I have to stop.
Oh,
Stop.
don't mess with the momentum.
Yeah, but then my wife's cranky because she needs food, right? So it's like, I gotta feed
beautiful.
her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so the sunflower seeds thing, and then the driving for my
And just
for my
not
dad.
messing your flow. It's like
we just want to get
the
there.
mind's already. Yeah, this is not a let's go detour.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a big detour person. It's got to be
Right.
That's where we're going, and then once we get there, then
Yeah.
we'll
relax, kick your feet up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're having when we eat, we start getting tired.
Exactly. No distractions in
just
full
goes
motion.
straight
So
shot,
okay,
yeah.
so that focus, just
Yeah.
driven. Just
Yeah.
I'm on one thing right now. That's what I'm
Right.
doing.
And I think that my mom, man, I think she's so detailed, man. From cleaning, oh gosh, she would always give us such a hard time when we were kids because things weren't clean the right way, right? We missed a spot, or we didn't go behind, or lift the blinds up and get under the blinds. You know what I'm saying? Or do the what's the thing called here on the
Gravel, the little between the
not
tile.
the floor and
The
the
base-
wall.
the
What's that?
baseboards?
Yes, thank you.
Baseboards,
The
yeah.
baseboards. If that stuff wasn't clean, man, or the things weren't put away a certain way, or the the towels weren't folded in a certain way. So pretty much I'm describing a perfectionist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Someone
yeah,
who's
yeah.
very hypercritical of herself when she doesn't perform well, but also hypercritical of those who she's entrusted to perform well. So when it comes to her home, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I think I get that from my mom, where I am tough on myself when I don't accomplish certain things or get it right away, and I see it now with my own son. He is hypercritical, man, to the point where he's almost too hard on himself, that it discourages him and he loses
Yeah.
confidence, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, this is a very healthy thing, because once we learn how to control that and use it for our benefit, then he's gonna be a very dangerous dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I get that from my mom, and then the work ethic. But also, I think my dad was didn't show much emotion, as many fathers do, right? Especially from Mexicano backgrounds.
Yeah.
And just the culture of it, the heritage of it. So he didn't show much. But now that he's been a granddad, he's a grandpa. He's definitely let
Like
his
there it
guard
is.
down.
You're like there it is.
What was that?
What? Who's this dude right here? Grandpa said what? No, he didn't. No, he did not. Yeah.
Give me a kiss, Pop. Like, what the
Yeah,
heck, man? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And my mom was very loving, man. Very, like, she supported us in everything we did. Her and my dad were both at every game. Never missed a game. Never missed anything that was important to us. They were always present, man. Because showing up matters as
Yeah,
parents, right?
yeah.
Showing up matters. And I guess that's what I would have to.
So not showing up emotion, not showing emotion on Pop's side. What about Mom's? The negative.
Oh,
trait.
I love my kids. I kiss them. Even my son, man.
Or the negative trait. The negative trait of
from
Mom's.
my mom.
Yeah.
Just perfectionist.
Oh, perfectionist.
Yeah,
Okay,
just hypercritical of yourself. Just demand excellence in everything you do, and just the detail portion of it, because it can really. I think that's why I've become the coach I am today, and the athlete that I was because the attention to detail that many people overlook, and that's a separator in everything we do. Right,
Yeah,
is the
of course,
details.
of course.
So just learning that, because most things are caught, not taught. She didn't teach me, hey son, it's so important for you to know the details of this or that, because it's going to help you become. No, I just watched her.
Yeah.
So I caught that. She
Yeah.
didn't teach it to me.
Right. That's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to be able to now, as a parent, be able to see, like, okay, Because when I speak, when I speak to people who are detail oriented, often, like you said, it kills the momentum or the spark, right? It's like it comes too early in the process. And I always say, no, keep that. We're going to use that because you're going to need it, right? Industries are looking for you out there. So that's a strength. That's a gift. It's just a matter of what order we put it in. Because at first, you just need to be able to get a little messy, right? So then, that way your detailed mind can come and clean it up. But if you want to get it out detailed, it's people get stuck, right? Okay, so now, was God instilled faith? Was that instilled in the household? Was that a big thing in the house, or did that come later?
Yeah, we grew up in the church, man. We grew up in the Catholic church for a little while. Then my dad, because both my parents were Catholics growing up, did the whole Sunday thing, and then come Monday they're drinking, you know what I mean, partying. But we'll do confession on Friday night, but then go back to the same lifestyle. So, not knocking Catholics. I'm just saying that let's just be real about it.
Yeah,
let's be real about it, okay? Yeah. And so they grew up that way, and my dad's like, he just questioned it, like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this. So he started venturing out and asking more questions. He started visiting different churches of all denominations, and he came across this church called Valley Baptist Church. It used to be called North Salinas Baptist Church, and they changed the name because they had a change in leadership. And we went there, and his life was never the same again. Him, my mom both ended up becoming believers where they verbally accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior, right? And then we grew up in the church. So I grew up in the church since I was in kindergarten. And then college, I did my own thing in college. I became very selfish. I strayed away, and I lived for myself, right? I lived for the flesh, not for him. And I did all that, right? Partied, chasing the women, all that stuff that comes with being a student athlete at the college level. You know what I mean? So, and it was very empty when it was all said and done, right? As many people come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Even Coach Prime, right? Deion Sanders, the best athlete to ever probably play or walk this earth, right? He also came to that same conclusion, to where he was so beat up and depressed that he actually tried to take his own life.
Yeah.
Right. So I experienced it, and it was empty. And when I got everything I asked for, everything I wanted, I got it. And now what? So then I was like, something's missing. And I started going back to church, and I joined a community it's a nonprofit. It's called Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and it's a national organization throughout America, and they have them every single high school campus, depending on who's running it, because they need a teacher or somebody or coach to run it. And I joined that club, and I was there, just community, man. Because if you don't find community, it's gonna be hard for you to figure out who you are. It's just gonna take a lot longer to get to your answers if you don't have a community, right? Or you can't do it on your own strength, so you're gonna struggle a lot more than you would if you have a community of people who's gonna help and support you and encourage you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So often as a coach, we kind of, I call it kind of working in that gap, right? People have their foundation at home, whatever that foundation looks like. It sounds like you would say a solid foundation at home. You would call it solid. What is it about, since you've been working with youth, and at the same time, your own experience, that you said what happens with college athletes and kind of went that route, right? Women, partying, having all that. Is that just a natural process for most people? Or is there something to prevent that based on your experience? Can you prevent that? Do you just have to see what happens? Like what is that stage of life for a young man? As you're experiencing now, not only did you go through it, but also you're coaching people up.
Right. I just think that was my journey. I have that in common with a lot of other people too, especially as athletes. But I think it's just part of the process of you discovering who you are, not only discovering who you are, but discovering who he is during that process, right? Where in times of need or times of triumph, right? Like, who do you go to? Like, who do you celebrate that with? Or who do you go to answers to bail you out? Are we only using God as a wishing well when things are going bad for us and we need him, we're desperate? Or are we giving thanks to him when he does bless us with things that we ask for, right? Mm-hmm. So I just think it's part of the journey of becoming who you need to become, right? And who better to tell your story than you? This is mine. Coach Al, you got your own story, right?
Yep.
So that's just the way it goes, right, Sal? Same for you. You know what I mean? Coach Rob, same thing for you. Coach Roy, sorry. And that's what makes this whole walk of life so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at us.
Of course.
All different walks of life, but yet here we are.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday night.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Talking shot.
Yep.
That's it.
Why? By accident?
Right.
Absolutely not, man. Certain people come into our lives for a reason, or either for a season, or for a lifetime, or for a moment. But either way, we're there for a reason, man. We're there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like I guess I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. No, well, it's one of those things where I think, you know, the next generation, it's like we want to avoid, we want to help them avoid what the last generation went through, and it just continues. It continues, but then we have a new challenge, right? There's always I believe, I'm a strong believer that, you know, the reason there's voids and the reason there's emptiness and the reason that there's these gaps is like that's where the belief, like that's where you need to move into to be fulfilled, almost to feel the power of Christ or God move through you is through these areas where our insecurities. It starts off as an insecurity and then it ends up being a void and then we end up being totally empty, right? And then we have to go look to be filled. So growing up in this belief, because it was there in the household. It was both parents. It was like on paper, it sounds like it was there, right? Do you believe that your actual relationship started much later though? Like the practice of it was early, but the relationship was much later?
No, I had a relationship since I remember him being in middle school and talking to him daily, throughout the day. I remember having very real conversations with him, being very vulnerable about just what I was going through at those times, right? And understanding that I can't do this on my own. I can't, right? And when I had hard times, like, then who do I go to for answers? I'm going to go to the world for answers, or I'm going to go to somebody who created the world, right? And what his word says. Yeah. And that's what I went to. It just gave me a direction, a compass, if you will, right? You know, when I needed answers, man, I got the answers I was looking for, right? The Bible is very clear, man. You seek, you will find. You knock at the door, I will open the door unto you, right? So you ask, you shall receive. So if you are intentional about searching what you're searching for, he's going to meet you halfway. He's going to meet you exactly where your feet are. You just have to take that step.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I relate in that the conversations with God came super early. And for me, it was just not going to another person. Like to me, the direct, I was like, let me just talk to you, man. I don't need to go through the middleman or express because I didn't want to vent. It was nothing to vent about. I had a clear question, and it was just if you're up there, or if you're, you know, if later found out you're in me, right? But at first it's like, man, if you're out there, this would be a real good time to show up, or whatever it may be. But it was always a constant sort of conversation. So I relate, and I think that naturally, I think kids, and when they're young, they naturally have that lifeline, right? That connection, and it's just now constructing the belief around it, or having a sense of understanding or some sort of grace,
right?
So then let's go to that point where now we're in college. What was that just experience like? What was it from the good to the bad to just like, what was that whole time like for you?
I mean, it was just the best years of my young adult life, man. The best years, because I went from living for myself to living for a purpose, and finding that purpose. I learned how to be self-sufficient, to be on my truly be independent, not to rely on mom and dad for everything, right? And bail me out if I needed to be bailed out. I just learned how to be a man, you know what I mean? And I learned how to communicate with others. I learned how to build relationships and maintain those relationships. Because of that journey, I found my calling in life, right? Which is to be a football coach. I played football until my last senior season of football season was the fall of 2005. I had the opportunity to play 2 years of arena football in the Arena Football League, play the Arena Football 2 League and the Developmental League, and then another league called Intense Football League. And I did that for 2 years, just trying to figure it out, man. Like, I still wanted to play football, so passion for the love of football. But then I remember there was one game, man, we're fighting for a playoff spot. Whoever won this game was going to go to the playoffs. And I remember being there, and I don't know, anywhere from 9 to 10,000 people in the arena, and it was a close game. I remember just being there and like thinking to myself, I don't want to be here right now. And that's the first time it's ever happened to me, where I was like, man, I don't want to be here. And then that's when I knew, after that game was over, just walking home or driving home and just reflecting on the game, like, man, might be it. This is it for me. Now I got to figure out who the heck I am. And I was depressed, man. Like I mentioned earlier before the show, us athletes, we go through identity crisis, man, right? Because I did something since I was in middle school, right? Practice every single day. I was a 3-sport athlete, so I was not a year-round I had no summers, man, growing up. 0 summers. And now that's over. Now who am I? Am I just known as an athlete, right? Or or do I have a greater purpose or identity than that, right? Yeah. So I remember when I was working at Home Depot at the time, man, I was still living in Colorado, and I remember walking through the aisles, man, and the lumber material aisle, I'm thinking like, is this my life now? I remember thinking that, like, is this my life now? So then I finished school. I went back and got my degree. And then my coach said, hey, Art, since you're back in the town, or since you're back in school, would you like to be an assistant coach? He's like, yeah, I can do that, coach, absolutely. So then sure enough, I joined the staff that summer. And I remember the very first practice, man. I got a drink of water. The drill we just got done with the period, special teams period. And I remember looking around, and I just remember thinking like, man, I think this is what I was made to do right here, was to coach, was to pass on information and knowledge and help others become their very best. And that's when I discovered it and haven't stopped since. That was 2007.
Let's give him a round of applause for that one. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on.
So you weren't looking for it. It was an invitation. Hey, come on over here, bro. I like your energy. You know what I mean? Like, it's an invitation, and then you like, and it found you. And found each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And coach, let me tap on this, man. My high school football coach, when I was 17 years old, it was a Thursday practice. It was a walkthrough practice because we were just in helmets and shoulder pads and shorts. And I remember
getting ready.
He took my brother and I to the side, and he says, hey, when you guys are done playing football, when you guys get done playing college football, I can see you guys coming back here and coaching for 20 plus years. He said to us at 17 years old. And then now I turned 42 later this month, right? I've been coaching. I'm going in my year 19 in coaching. That conversation my coach had with me that day, I've had that maybe 4 times with players in the course of the last 18 seasons, where I saw the gift of teaching. I saw the gift of influence and leadership within that young man. And that conversations don't happen very often now, knowing what I know now. So right then and there, that's when I realized, like, man, coach planted a seed in my brother and I. Yeah. Right? Wow. And it's just this is what I've been called to do, man. Like, this is my purpose, is to coach young men, to influence them and impact them in ways that only a football coach can do, and only the game of football can provide.
Yeah.
So what was some of like the exercises you were doing to go from being like an introvert to starting to use and learn and discover a voice?
Yeah, that's a great question, man.
I say this dude's an extrovert. He identifies as an introvert, but he's out there, man. Yeah. I gotta go get him sometimes. Yeah. He's out there.
Well, it's funny, man, because we just had my son's birthday party, right? And he invited all his classmates to the party. And I was like, gosh, man, I gotta talk to all these dads. You know what I mean? Like, I already have enough friends, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
And and I remember thinking, like, and it's very selfish of me to say, right? But then also the parent in me says, no, it's probably a good idea that you know the dads of your boys' friends. You know what I mean? Like, so you know who's hanging out with and whatever it may be, right? So I don't know, man. I just my wife. That's who it was. Mm-hmm. It was my wife. It was your wife. Because she's very social. She goes to social events, and she loves being around people. She loves helping people. And she's the one that kind of brought that out of me, right? Because even now, people talk to her, oh, your husband speaks at this place or does that, and all these speaking engagements that he does, and he speaks in front of people, and he's like, yeah, but that's not. He's very introverted. People don't realize, like, unless he's talking about football, your purpose or just life, like, you're not gonna get much out of him.
Yeah. You know what it's funny about that, man, is something that I learned to do, because I get super like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm literally looking to see how to get out of a situation or if there's people, but is telling myself, why am I here? And then that grounds me. And as long as I have an intention walking in, I'm good. Like, I can be around people, but there's got to be an intention. And now I say, this is an affirmation I use for myself, is I decided what I'm walking in with, not knowing what I'm walking into, right? And it's just that, like, I know why I'm here. I'm going to, have 5 people smile, or I'm going to connect with 3 people, or I'm going to go speak about whatever it might be. That then just kind of helps me just, kind of, all right, I can tolerate this for about an hour. I could do about an hour. So, so being that introvert, that's a great, beautiful question. Yeah. Now, as you have gone through your journey through life, It is also some I've learned is people tend to tap into a younger version of themselves when they didn't have as much confidence, when they didn't have the resources, when they didn't have the clarity, when they didn't have that sanctuary or that confidence in self. What was that younger version for you that you can look back now and it sort of adds some fuel to your day or add some fuel to your mission, knowing what you have now, knowing who you are now? Is there a younger version that kind of, anytime you think back, you kind of go to that younger version?
Man, I just think about all the homies, man, that I grew up with and how much talent they had. Very athletic. Some were very smart, very athletic. And they just were just trying to find answers, right? And just trying to figure this thing called life out, right? They're doing within the neighborhood, right, the hood, to find those answers, right? But we all know where that leads.
Yeah.
And those are the at-risk youth, to be quite honest, the people who are struggling, who are on the fence, like, man, do I continue going this way because that's what's expected of me, or do I follow what I really want? And then am I going to be judged for it or consequences because I leave that life? You guys all know what I'm talking about. And I've seen it, man. And those are the guys I intentionally go after because I want them to understand and realize that there is so much to them besides the color they rep or the hood or the street they rep and rock, that there's a much greater purpose for them, that they don't have to go through this pain for them to figure it out, or might not even get there because they're going to lose their life before that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the consequences that come along with it, or getting locked up for X amount of time. And just going through that, right? And you can't, I'm not here to try to save people. I'm just here trying to influence them and steer them in a direction, right? And if they go, they go. If they don't, they don't. And I've had players and students who don't. Yeah. And they're dead because of it, right? I've had to bury two former players of mine where I was asked by their families, their parents, to do their funeral, right? Wow. And I don't know, man. That's why I coach, though, right? That's why I coach, is to give back to our community and people who I identify with or have empathy for. That they don't do better because they don't know better, and I'm just trying to give them just more information. Like, look, man, like life doesn't have to go this way. It doesn't have to be like this, right? Yeah. So, and let them know that somebody's actually cares. I mean, usually that's because they usually don't have a strong male figure in their life, right? Usually dad's not around, or they don't have a good structure at home with dad, or it's a very strained or broken relationship, or maybe they don't even have a relationship with dad at all. So those are the ones I kind of, again, gravitate towards because I just want to be that X factor in their life that really helped them reflect. And it's like, man, if it wasn't for Coach B, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And it's definitely about planting them seeds.
That's it, man.
Wherever you can't make them grow, man. As long as you just drop them seeds and let the soil, seeds fall in the soils, right? Not, you can't do nothing about it.
That's it,
it's
man.
Amazing.
So these young people, man, searching, or anybody really, right? Anybody searching, because when we thought about this platform, the idea was, how do we just shine light on people who are going after more, not thinking about going after more, not dreaming about it, not waiting to see what happens, but actually just going outside, going to go see what they can find, and that's really what we want to do. So how does somebody, you talked about purpose, how would you describe, because you say I'm living my purpose when I'm coaching football, how would you describe living in purpose?
Man, that's a good question. Living in purpose. I think it's something that there's no doubt in your mind that this is exactly where you need to be and what you should be doing. There is no doubt. You have direction. You have all the tools you need at that time. You don't even have to have all the tools, but if it's your purpose, man, it's what you're supposed to be doing, it's all going to take care of itself. And it's just a day where you're so motivated to get better at that craft, whatever niche that it is for you, right? It becomes easy to learn because you want to learn. You're just motivated to do it because you're passionate about it. It burns inside you, right? Mm-hmm. And this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. and and then you just know that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Why? Because I see the difference I'm making in other people's lives. It's not even me. I might not even truly benefit from it, other than the fulfillment piece, which is a big part.
Right? Yeah. I'm writing a whole book on fulfillment. Yeah.
Right. But as far as if you're doing it for the money, there's never enough.
Right.
And that's not the best motivator. So that's why purpose comes into play. It doesn't matter how much money you make. I mean, I heard on Ruben Villa's podcast, his interview you guys did with him. He talked about how he would fight for free.
Oh yeah.
Because he just loves to fight.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing with purpose. You
do
do it for free. I am doing it for free.
Yeah.
Many times. Yeah. Right? And that's purpose, man. Doing things where you don't have to get paid to do it and still be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Wonderful.
That's it. Man. No, it's we were having a conversation about the I like to find people who I couldn't pay you enough to stop being you, right? Like we don't want to. It's not about the idea is if I get paid more, then I'll do more, right? That mentality of depends on what you pay me, right? Where I'm like, no. We need to get to a point where someone couldn't pay you enough to shut up. Like, hey, stop being so energized or so motivating or so intentional. To get to that point is a beautiful, beautiful place to be because it sounds like you have both of your feet on the ground and you know the level in which you can do it in. I think that the other hesitation with people is they don't know if they're doing too much or if they're, often, right, they don't want to overdo it or overshine. For somebody who found success in sports early, how did you deal with outshining the people around you? Like, how did it feel? Was it any uncomfortability with winning?
As long as I beat my twin brother that day and performed better than him, that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
It was like that was the house.
Yeah, kept you right there.
That was the household we lived in, my brother. And that's the environment we had with each other. Was that did I do better than my twin? Did I run faster than him today? If I did, I didn't care about who else I beat because I beat my twin. Because to me, it's like looking in the mirror. Yeah. That's my competition. And it just happens that I'm identical twin, so I got to see the real physical version of it too, rather than just just something that you imagined in the mirror. Like that's it's me versus me, right? But I actually got to see it every single day with my twin because we were very similar in every aspect, right? Just flip a coin, and that's who's going to win that day. You know what I mean? Or that's who's going to play better that day.
Who was faster?
He started off. He was faster than I was, and then I ended up beating him there at the end, but. He was fast too. He could run.
He got a couple.
Yeah, he got a couple.
There you go.
Who was stronger?
He was stronger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I was better. He's not. But I was better.
You came out earlier. He got the strength and the speed.
And then these questions right here also prepared both of us for the comparison game.
See.
Right. I'm worried about what's on my plate. I don't care what's on your plate because I have to deal with my twin every single day.
Yeah.
So I didn't care about other people or other athletes or what they were doing because I knew if I didn't outwork my brother that day, I didn't outwork anyone that day.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So, because he came after, like he's the same way, man. Like he went after things.
There you go.
And he accomplished things, and he worked his butt off. He wasn't afraid to work hard either, right? And wake up early and stay up late. So
beautiful.
I don't know, man. It's just the comparison game, being the twin brother, always being compared to him all the time. Even now as adults, it still follows us. It just comes with the territory.
Yeah,
but that really prepared both of us, I think, to handle the doubters, the critics. And not fall into the trap of being compared to other people.
Yeah.
And we just stayed in our lane and put our head down and we went after what we wanted.
And you guys both went to the same college?
Yeah, we sure did.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Did you guys ever switch classes?
Yeah, we did.
All right. That's a famous twin story.
Yes,
man.
he has twin sisters.
Oh, okay.
Older twin sisters for sure. They did that
we've done
in
that a few
college.
times. Oh yeah. Even times where we had either we're talking to a girl or dating a girl at the time. We'll get on the phone and he'll answer the phone and it's my girl on the phone and he's talking to her and she doesn't even know the difference. So we have to come up with
amazing.
We'd have to do a password. Like my girlfriend at the time, we have to do a password to where she knew it was me talking. She only knew that. So we had to do those kind of things. Just twin shenanigans there, man.
That's wonderful, man.
That's beautiful.
You're a co-author.
I am a co-author.
So what made you want to step into like the whole different league of writing and being in the book?
Yeah, it was an anthology. Both projects were anthology, so it was 20 men who wrote a chapter within the book. And it was just about impact. One of them was called Impact and Influence, and the other one was Purpose. And just sharing our story within the chapter, and we had an X amount of words to use within the chapter. But it was just an opportunity that came, man. Like my boy, shout out to my boy Chip Baker, man.
Chip Baker.
He gave me an opportunity to be part of his project, and we connected through Zandra Galvan, who's currently the superintendent of Salinas
Yep.
Union High School District, right?
I was in Greenfield right before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was actually my YMCA coach in Soledad back in the day.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
When I was young, man.
That's amazing.
So we kind of
high energy.
Yes.
Shout out to Zandra. High energy.
Yes, indeed. So she connected us.
Okay.
And then he reached out to me, and we connected, and when I was he invited me on his podcast, and we connected, and he said, "Hey man, I would like for you to be part of my next book project." I was like, "Absolutely. Just give me the details and we'll make it happen." And sure enough, that's how it happened. And then the other one came too. It's just funny how what you seek is also seeking you. You just have to be intentional about seeking it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people wonder why certain opportunities come, because you're working your butt off to get there. And so don't be surprised when it shows up, when you get what you ask for, right?
Yeah.
So
we're often prepared for the no or for the rejection or for it not to happen. But when it happens, this is what you've been. Guys, like I sent it to your address, bro.
That's right.
You asked me. This is what you asked me
That's
for.
right.
So in that, living in purpose, having intention, as a coach, I can ask another coach, what would you say are 3 steps or 3 practices that you would give to anybody in search of purpose?
Accountability. You need someone to hold you accountable and tell you the truth. That's what happened to me with my college professor, right? She told me the truth. Somebody who's going to be a life partner with you, that's going to pull that out of you. Because it's one thing to discover, it's a whole different ball game to sustain it, right? And be consistent at it. And that's why my wife's been that for me, to where she's seen certain things within me, man, that I didn't even know existed. Like, for example, being a head football coach was one of them. And she's like, you need to be a head coach. And she really pushed me to do it. And just persistence, man. Don't take no for an answer. Keep fighting and see what you're made out of. Like Les Brown is known for saying this: when you fall on your back, make sure you look up so you can get up, right? So persistence, man. If you want it bad enough, it takes what it takes.
So accountability, a partner, and persistence.
Yes, absolutely.
Somebody made it. Let's go ahead and give that.
Yeah.
And so, how'd you meet
Coach Roy over here is smiling. Why are you smiling? Just to share why you're smiling. Because
wife also sent me up. Sent me up to be a coach, right? And then just created this beast, right?
Yeah,
Once you
man.
jump in, you're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure we're gonna be home?" No, but yeah, it's a beautiful experience. Thank you, wife. And so,
That's right.
Yeah, what is your wife's name and how'd you meet? What?
Jessica. Her name's Jessica, East Side girl from Laurel Heights, and she's been through it, man. Her life is just a story in itself. The things she's had to overcome and witness and see and experience, and then to be a successful small business owner, award-winning business owner. She runs a day spa in Spreckles. She used to have 2 locations, one in Salinas on the south side, but now she just has the 1 location in Spreckles. She downsized, and yeah, man. Well, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, of course.
This is your platform, bro. It's your time, dog.
It was 2013. No, it wasn't 2013. 2016. I'm an assistant coach at Hartnell College. Recently married. My wife tells us she's pregnant. We don't know where we're going to have, male or female. We wanted to wait, so we waited for the day of the birth to find out. So anyway, I was an adjunct professor at Hartnell, meaning I could only work part-time, right? I could only make 60% at that time or half of what full-timers make, right? So I wasn't a full-time employee, meaning I didn't have benefits or retirement, right? But I love football. That's another thing. That's the reason why when you love certain things, you'll even take a pay cut just because you want to be around it, right? So that's what I did. I love football. I love coaching, and it was a great opportunity to be there and learn. And then I remember thinking to myself, like, man, now that my wife's pregnant, I got to get myself a real job, right? So I applied to be a sheriff deputy, took the test, and I remember when it came down to make a decision, she said to me, "You don't have to do this." And she's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You don't have to do this. If you want to keep coaching, you can keep coaching. We're fine financially. We're fine. I got us." It's like, shoot, man. okay, so I'm gonna continue coaching. So I could have went down a completely different path.
Yeah.
But I didn't because my ride or die, man, had to speak something to me in those moments, right? And that's why I'm saying have a life partner to really hold you accountable, but also bring the very best out of you and see things within yourself that you're willing to give up, but brings you back to neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Great answer.
That's beautiful. And that's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And in those moments, man, in those moments of, right or left, I know I personally have a belief that you'll still somehow, God will find a way. Like I am somebody who was like, I went after plan B. Like I was attempted to be like, I remember too, like I was 19 and I knew it was this way, but I was like, man, but I'm broke. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
I'll come back. I promise I'll come back. I just need to go get this real quick. I've never applied at more than, I think I applied at 325 jobs. And I'm somebody who's always had 2-3 things lined up. And not one called me back, man. Like I just attempted to like, just please give me a year so I can get something. And, car broke down and everything just happening. And it wasn't even allowed. Like wasn't even allowed to go after plan B, And I was like, there's the other people who were like, I found out that wasn't it for me. No, it wasn't even allowed. Like I was attempting to go. But everybody has that interesting relationship with God, right? Where he shows up in many different forms and many different ways. So your wife has a successful business. So we want to make sure we shout that out. That's in Spreckles, California.
Yep. Venia Spa.
Let's go.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And how'd you meet her? Where?
That's a good question. She went to Alvarez High School. We knew of each other. I played football with her older brother. Her older brother and I are the same age, so she's 1 year younger.
Okay.
And we never spoke. We were never friends, but we ran in the same circles. We had all the same friends. And it wasn't until I was living in Colorado at this time, and this is years after high school, 2009. So she graduated in 2002, so seven years after we connected, and it was on Facebook. Good old Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And back in that time, suggested friends would pop up on the left side part of the screen somehow. Like there was some box that showed suggested friends or whatever. And then, or was it? I can't remember what it was. But anyway, her profile picture popped up. Right? It's like, gosh, dang, she's bad, right? And so I was like, what do I got to lose, man? She lives in California. I live in Colorado. I have nothing to lose. So I wrote her a message, as they call DM today, right? Yeah. I wrote her a message, and she responded, believe it or not. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. So then we just start talking, and I said, hey, I'm actually going to be in California for a wedding. We had a mutual friend who was getting married. Are you going to the wedding? She's like, no, I'm taking my nephew to Great America that same day. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, maybe since I'm in town, we can link up afterwards. And she's like, yeah, okay. I thought nothing of it, man. She just tell me what I want to hear, right? She's just being nice to me, right? Yeah. Nah, sure enough, she was a woman of her word. We met up. We went on a date. She kissed me on the first date, right? She came.
Hold on. I got that little moment. Had to hit that for Coach is blushing. Let's go.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, man.
She leaned in.
She leaned in. And then I'm thinking, like, well, I want to see you again. So then, well, what about tomorrow night? And she says, I don't get off till after 9, after work. I was like, okay, just hit me up when you're done. I was like, she ain't going to hit me up. It's going to be too late. Sure enough, she hits me up, and we link up again. I go back to Colorado for 5 weeks. We talked every single day. And then I came back to visit for a weekend, and we just started pretty much dating, right? And then I was like, I'm going to move back to Colorado, or back to California to see where this will lead. And I wasn't doing anything. I got my degree and all that stuff. I was coaching. But then I knew college football, 4-year college football wasn't for me because of the demand, the lifestyle. I wanted to be present. I wanted to be home. And I knew, I was like, let me move back home and start coaching back at Solid High School, back in my hometown. And that's what I did. Made the move back in 2009, and we've been together ever since, man.
Yeah, so, there you go. Yeah. There you go. So you've coached in a couple of different places, a few different places.
Yep.
How easy or how difficult has it been? Because I believe also when you're serving in your purpose, you're there, you're as a visitor, right? No matter if it's one site that you're at for 20 years, you're still temporary. How has it been transitioning from one spot to the other? Do you know it's the right time? What's been the experience? Do you leave Like, have you been pushed out? Like, what's been the story of you hopping around in a few different places of coaching?
I have been around a few different places, and it was funny that you asked that because I remember just talking to a good friend of mine. He's on my coaching staff, and I said, "Hey, man, you know what? Sometimes people think it's, at least I used to think about like, man, I bounced around. I'm only spent 3 years here, 4 years there, 2 years there. I'm moving around a lot, right? But then I look at all the relationships I've built. Yeah. I look at all the cultures I was able to help impact and influence, right? All the people I met along the way, right? All those things. So how it all started was 2 years of college football. I'm an alma mater in Colorado, college football, right? Division II football. Did that for 2 years, and I realized, like, man, college, as I mentioned a little earlier, college football just wasn't for me, man, because of the time, the recruiting. I was single at the time, but it was just so much time, man, away from home. If you're not careful, it can ruin marriages, right? I've seen coaches get divorced all the time, right? Yeah. And because of you're not available and you're not home. So I knew that I didn't want that life. So I was like, I'll move back home, coach high school football back at home, and I'll just stay there for the rest of my career, right? I had no desire of leaving, moving, nothing. I was like, I want to give everything I've learned back to Soledad, right? So I did that for 2 years, and then the coach that was there, I was like, man, I'm not really learning much, man. Like, I think there's got to be more to football than just winning football games. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be more to just winning. Yeah. So then I reached out to Coach Alfred Avila out in Seaside. He just won a CCS championship in 2009. Yeah,
great coach.
Yep, 2009. He just won a CCS championship. And then we got connected through his brother. And his brother introduced us. And I met Coach Av at his house in Marina. And then we met and we spoke. And I was on his staff in 2010 for a year. And that's when I realized, like, man, I need a mentor. I needed a mentor. I need somebody to show me the way and how to run a pro. Because I did have a desire to be a head coach at that time. I really wanted to run my own program. So I was like, I need to prepare myself when that moment comes, right? So I went off to a guy who's been very successful, older, experienced, a winner. And then I watched how he ran practices. I watched how he spoke to his team. So this is what I want. This is what kind of culture I want to build right here, right? It's truly a family atmosphere, a true accountability, encouragement, a place to grow, a place to be vulnerable, a place to perform, and just be better, right? Just a place to be better for excellence. So did that. Then my twin brother got the head job at Soledad in 2011. So I was only there for 1 year at Seaside. So we took what we learned there, went to Soledad, and then my brother was there. I was there with him for 2 seasons, I think. I was there for 2 or 3 years. I was like, nah, it's time for me to venture off on my own now, right? Like, he's got his thing going. I helped to get the program going. We are rolling. We won more games we've had in the last 9 years. Like, we went to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Like, the program's in a good spot, right? So then I left and went to Hartnell because I really felt like I still needed to learn more, like how to lead, how to run a program. So I reached out to Coach Collins there at Hartnell College and coached for him and his coaching staff. I was there for 5 springs and 4 falls. So for 4 full seasons, I was there. And then I got my first opportunity to be a head coach at Gonzales High School in 2017. Wow. And then that's why I left Hartnell to become a head coach. I did that for 3 years. And then the pandemic hit. I wasn't getting much support when it came to the pandemic as far as working the kids out, having small cohorts, having a season. They canceled our season. We didn't even do anything, man. Like, they didn't even let us work out, right? I had no support there. So I was like, man, I don't want to. Our visions, we don't align. So I can't be part of this anymore. Yeah. So then I resigned, and then I got picked up by Hollister High School 2 weeks later with the contract, and went over there for 2 years. 2021, 2022, had a great time. Veteran coaches everywhere, experienced, knowledgeable coaches everywhere.
At Hollister?
Yep. I went from being like one of the older guys on staff, or like average, to being the youngest guy, one of the younger guys on staff, because everyone's just so seasoned, man. And I was such a sponge. Just leaders in that room, leaders of men, and I learned so much from them. And then I got the opportunity to be the head coach at Forge Christian High School in Colorado. And you guys don't know that's how I got to Colorado?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
It's just flipping the page. Like, yeah.
All right. So I'm at Hollister, right, in the spring of 2023. It's like month of March. I get a phone call from my buddy of mine who's a head football coach at Colorado State Pueblo, Division II coach, right? Division II program. He's a head coach there, one of my good friends, former teammates. Say, hey, man, my alma mater high school closed. They're going to sell the school, but they're building a new school and rebranding it. And the guy who bought it, I grew up with his son. I think you should consider it. Can I give him your number so you guys can talk? I was like, absolutely, man. So I'm always open-minded to hear people out. So then sure enough, the Pastor Rick, man, my boy Pastor Rick, he gave me a call. We talked for about 2.5 hours, the first conversation. Then we met on Zoom. And he was just, man, it was just an opportunity I could not pass. Once the wife gave me the okay, then we were rolling, man. We're going, right? So then we went to Colorado that summer.
You and your wife.
So the whole family. So Hollister High School's graduation was on the 9th or 10th of June. I get in the car that day. It was a Friday. I get in the car that Friday. Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe it was a Saturday. It was a Friday. And I drive and I make the trip to Colorado. Just me, our dog, and then we hired movers to move all our stuff. And then my wife was going to fly out to meet me there, and with the kids. So we did that, and it didn't, man. So my first practice there with the team was June 12th, which is very, very late to begin meeting with your team for the very first time, right? Yeah. So the timeline. So we go there, and within 8 weeks, man, 8 to 9 weeks, the numbers come back from my wife's spa because she trained her staff to take over the spa while she's gone, and she was going to open up a new spa in Colorado. Yeah, and then run both, franchise it, right, if you will. Yeah, and it didn't work out that way, man. The numbers came back, and that year we lost close to $80,000. Wow, in 1 year. So she had to go back home and run the business, and then because we still kept our house. We still kept everything here. Yeah. We didn't change any of that. Because my in-laws, her parents, my mother-in-law and father-in-law live with us, right? Okay. So they were able to take care of the house for us. And when she's able to travel back and forth from Colorado to California, and then she always had a place to stay, all that stuff. So we're paying to live in two places, two states. Mm. And we know that wasn't sustainable over a period of time, right? So then we decided for me to move back.
Did it feel like the wrong move?
Not at all.
Okay, so because you talked about no doubt in your head.
Yeah. No.
It felt like the right move. Just what did it feel? Because often in faith or in feeling versus external world, somebody could say that was a wrong move, right? Somebody on the outside. But you and your wife have a team. You have a conversation. To somebody who goes for something and it just doesn't plan out the way they see it, often people call it failing or making a mistake,
absolutely.
or not wanting to do that again. For you, did it feel that way? Why didn't it? What was that experience like?
It was very challenging for one, because we were doing the whole long distance thing. Like I'm doing a long distance marriage, and our kids went to homeschool for the first year, so we're able to be flexible with their hours and do school at home on the computer with them. But then we wanted to enroll them back into school because we needed them in school, and it was very challenging, man. It was very lonely at times, right? Because I was just by myself. It was me and one of my coaches from here actually moved out there with me, so he was my roommate. Okay. Right, so he followed me from California to Colorado, and did an exceptional job. So it was challenging, man. There were moments where my wife was like, "Hey, we'll keep doing this as long as we can make this work. Like, I'm okay. Don't worry about coming home. Just coach, do your job, and just do what you're supposed to do. And we're gonna figure this thing out." So we did that, man. We did that for a year and a half. It wasn't a full 2 years, but we did it for a year and a half. And then that's when we realized, like, man, I'm missing out on so many things with my children. Everything I signed up for was not going according to plan, meaning I didn't have my family with me. Yeah. And that's a problem for me, right? So we were able to just hold on and do that as long as we could. But then I just had to get back home, man. So we had that conversation, and I had a great time, though, man. I had a great time. I met so many great people. My spiritual walk increased, got better. My leadership got better. Just hiring a staff, meeting people from I had no idea who or what anyone can do, or what I had to build a staff from nothing, right? And go into an environment, a community where I was the outcast, right? I was a stranger, and then making all that work, like
You have to network.
Dude, like
You have to be a social. You have to be. You have to be an extrovert. You have to be an extrovert.
Yeah.
The squeeze,
Yeah.
for sure.
But it was so great, man. I had such a great time, and it'll be by far one of the fondest memories I ever had as a coach, for sure. Was that transition in Colorado for those 2 seasons, and then coming back home to California now. I would never take back that decision ever. Oh man, it was a great experience, man.
You know, and so those two, that high school you went to, you took them to playoffs, took them to
Yep.
championships.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Talk about that. How like what was the record before
Okay.
you went there?
Yeah, so there were 2-7 the year before I got there, and then my first year we go 4-5, so we double the win column, right? The year 2 we go all the way to the state championship game. We're undefeated, 12-0, 12-0 going into the state championship game,
12-0.
and we end up losing the state championship game.
First year, how many seniors you got?
We had a handful of them. Yeah.
Second year, the 12-0
Yeah, we're senior heavy, so we had about 13 seniors, 14 seniors.
all starting.
Majority of them, yeah. We had a really good special group, man. Special group. But these guys, since freshmen, never experienced what it would like to be a part of a winning season, let alone playoffs. They've never been to the playoffs ever. Never been undefeated ever, right? In high school anyway, and we were able to accomplish that together.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just a reflection of their work ethic, a reflection of our coaching staff, the quality of coaching that we got from those guys and how they led their position groups and worked. I was able to work with them and just be on the same page. And gosh, man, it was so – the men I met, man, I would never take it back.
Yeah.
Never take it back.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, the work, man, the craft.
Man.
For sure.
So you've been able to coach on, let's say the platform has been the sport. Before we press record on this thing, you had mentioned that right now you're in between, you're kind of in this transition phase. Talk to us a little bit about what does it feel like? What's the actual experience? As somebody who's just moving, who's just going, you're like, what? We're pulling over. This is like a rest stop? What is this? So I can imagine if driving, you don't want to pull over. I could just imagine what in this space where there's, you know, I'm sure you're exercising patience.
Absolutely.
And all of that. What is the experience like of being, of not being on a routine?
Yep.
And just talk to us a little bit about that space. Resultados. Do you know what that means? Results. It's that simple. Results Transformation Center, baby. The vibe is there. The community is there. People are getting it in, making it happen, getting fit. It's time to get your life together. It's time for you to step in, challenge yourself. It's time for you to grow. It's time for you to stop making excuses. And it's time for you to start gaining the results that you're looking for at Results Transformation Center. Look, man, just stop in at 109 15th Street in West Sacramento. They got the best music. They got the best vibe. They got the best community that'll support you on your fitness journey, on your health journey, and will get you the results that you're looking for. Let's go.
You guys may have seen the new supplement that's entered the market. G'd Up Super Greens. Man, this has been an insane journey to be a part of, witnessing the full development and creation of these super greens. They are a supplement, and I'm very picky with mine, so this is one of the few that I do take. I take it first thing in the morning. Some of the benefits are prebiotics, probiotics, vitamins, help reduce stress and cortisol levels, as well as maintain clean energy throughout the day. My mornings are not as groggy and not as slow as they once were. Definitely try some. Let me know what you think. You can hit me up for your orders, or you can hit up Coach Al at Man on a Mission on Instagram.
I'm talking about grown people problems. That's right. That's right. I'm talking about plumbing and pipes. If you are a homeowner, a business owner, a landlord, you know what I'm talking about. Yup. Those squeaky pipes. Those leaky pipes. When your pipes ain't piping, they're rusted out, they're done. You need to hit somebody up. A1 Plumbing and Drains. They're taking care of the entire Northern California. I'm talking about the best in the business. All you have to do when you run into that problem, when your pipes ain't piping, dial 916-347-3275. That's 916 888-347-3275. Or you could just look them up at a1plumbinganddrains.org. Flush your problems away. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's challenging. Man, I'm in a place of stillness. I'm in a place of waiting. And I'm not always good with that, right? And that's just where I'm at. So I have to embrace it, man. You're right. I can only control what I can control. I'm not going to focus on things I can't control. And how I see it, too, because even when I was transitioning from Colorado back to California, the number one question I got was, Coach B, what are you going to do? Like, you have a job lined up? Or I was like, I have nothing lined up. I got nothing. I'm going to get there and just figure out who's hiring and who needs a head coach, because I'm not going to not be a head coach, right? This is where I'm at in my career right now, in my life, is that I need to lead from the front, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was like, but one of my good friends, he used to always say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right?
He chuckles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Plans, bro.
So how I see it is I see it as the table's been set, man. I'm at the door. All right, I just checked in at the front desk. I just have to be directed to my seat. It doesn't matter where I end up. I'm going to end up exactly where the Lord wants me to be, where I can do his most work.
Yeah.
Right? And my constant prayer to him is like, Lord, here I am. Send me. Right? I'm your instrument. Use me. Oh, yeah. Whatever that looks like, I'm okay with. I'm just going to follow you where you direct me, right? And that's what I say. I have complete confidence where I'm going to end up is exactly where he wants me to be, right? And there's good. I need to learn how to be still, though. You know what I mean? This is a great experience for me too, just to wait, to be in the waiting. I don't have to control everything for things to work out okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm going to end up exactly where I'm supposed to be to do his work.
Yeah, I'm hearing. It looks like you're fond of embracing the grind. You love embracing the grind. Now it's time to embrace the stillness, like you're mentioning, man, and you're gonna be even holistic leadership, man.
It's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful. So how long have you been in this transition period? And I only asked about this period is because as somebody who's out there 9 months, a year in a sense, school years, and I've always had trouble with like summer break and this winter break. And I'm like, who put this? Who said I needed a break, man? Like I see, like for me, what's and this is my next question to you. For me, what has like just bothered me has been like, these when there's breaks and people checking out. And like there's this purpose that in my mind it's like seasonal. It's like there's seasons, there's rhythm to life. But there's this break that everybody's on. Like everybody's on this break. Like for some reason I'm like, this is the second quarter. What think like an athlete or people are thinking summer, and I'm like, this is the fourth quarter. Like that's what earlier on I would have more of a challenge. Now I'm understanding that everybody's on a different frequency. Right. And I'm tuned into some. So usually my summers and my winters, I'm writing, I'm reading, and I'm just designing kind of what I'm envisioning because I've got to put it out on something. So that's why I ask, how long have you been in this transition space since you have to be still?
It was when we lost the state championship game, which was November 30th.
Whoa, you lost it, huh?
Yeah, we lost the game. And I knew after that game, because the decision was already made, the decision was already communicated with the administration and leadership, was that I was going to finish the season, finish the semester, and then make the move back home during Christmas break. That's exactly what we did. So I've been in the waiting since November 30th because I already knew that I was going back home, and I'm still waiting.
There you go.
I'm still waiting. I have some options, of course, but until I sign the contract, man, like nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lived long enough to understand there's no guarantees, man. Yeah. People will say what they want to say, but until you sign, man, it ain't real until it's in writing, right? It never happened.
That's real. Yeah. That's real. A conversation is a good thing, but it's not solid.
Right.
So to Coach B, what energizes you and what like drains you? Like, nah, I'm not even a part of that. Like, I don't even want to do anything with that.
It's the same answer. My children. They give me so much energy.
Beautiful.
And there's days where like, golly, man, like I need my time. And my wife's probably gonna hear this, like, you need your time. I need my time.
Yeah, he needs his time.
I need my time. Man. But you know what was cool though, man? Because over this past summer, my wife, because she was working still, right? I'm preparing our football team for the summer because we train all summer long. My kids came out and spent the whole summer with me, man. They went to every single practice, 6:30 in the morning. Never complained, never fought against it, nothing. They say, hey, we're going with Dad to practice this morning. They had one. There was no other options, man. So they didn't fuss, they didn't fight, man, and that just brings so much joy to me because I want to, man. I'm a kid when I'm around them, man. My wife, at this point, one of the things that gets me in trouble at home is that I'm sometimes the biggest kid in the house. Yeah, right? Like when we're playing horse.
He's like, you're describing me. That's this dude right here. He's like, damn.
Yeah, I got 4 of them little creatures running around, man.
Oh, I just love playing with them. We roughhouse. I throw them around. Right, they jump on my back and we're just messing around. And sometimes we do it late at night. And my wife's like, "Calm down, you guys need to be getting them ready for bed, not getting them all hyped up,
down.
right?
You're winding down.
Get the heart rate up and all that stuff. And then of course at the end of the day, and then it's hard being a parent, man. Right? It's hard. It's beautiful at the same time. But every parent knows this, man. Like it's hard work. It's hard work. And there's some days you don't want to be a parent. There's some days you don't want to be a spouse. If I'm being completely honest with you, right? I just want to I just want to be on my own. Give me my 15 to 30 minutes, right? Let's recalibrate, reset, and let's get after it again, right? But it's tough, man. And I don't want to speak for everybody, but that's just my experience as a parent is that it's great. It's fun. We have a great time. It's very fulfilling. But at the same time, it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's the most important job there is man, on this earth, man.
And if you aren't exhausted, then you probably ain't doing it right.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah. Has it changed your style of coaching or speaking now taking into account, or do you catch yourself now having children, the way you used to maybe coach or the way you used to speak? Are you changing any of your message now, thinking as a father of many times when somebody doesn't see that, or blind spots, right? When we're speaking, we have many blind spots. We can be as mindful as possible. Right. But has it shifted your perspective and your way of speaking or directing or moving men?
Not at all. I think I'm the same person I was before the kids. That's just who I am to the core. You know what I mean? If anything, I'm even more intentional about being a better example in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't think about that when I see them, I get rejuvenized when I see them at practice. I love when they come to practice, man. It rejuvenates me. It refreshes me. And it gives me so much energy. I'm actually probably harder on my team when my kids are there, to be honest with you. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to.
I don't know why.
I just feel like maybe I have to set an example for my young ones because I know they're watching, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm a better coach when they're on the field, man. Wow. I'm a better coach when they're on the field.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you're on your toes. Keep you on your toes, man.
And being a former athlete and now coaching 19 seasons.
Going in 19 years.
20 Hold on, man. Hold on. Let's give that 20 years in the game of coaching, of just coaching. What are you seeing in the youth now that is similar to maybe when you were growing up? And what is just like what these young people are going through, just so that people can kind of understand then versus now?
Yeah. I don't think there's much of a difference, because first of all, our generation, we're the ones to blame for why the kids are today. Take some responsibility, parents.
Yeah.
Take some responsibility, because the reason why your son or your daughter, your child's entitled is because you allow them to be entitled. The reason why they're disrespectful to strangers and their teachers is because you allow them to be disrespectful to you at home, right? So that's always going to be the case, where everything always starts at what? Starts in the home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I just think I don't think much has changed besides the parents raising the kids. That's what's changed. The kids haven't changed. It's the parenting that's changed. Mm-hmm. The discipline, the accountability. I'm going to get my information first and my facts were from the teacher before I go scream and yell and complain about the teacher about getting them fired, when my son or my daughter was the one that initiated the confrontation, or that my son or daughter lied to me, or just told me half truths, didn't give me the full story, right? Instead of being given the educator or the teacher the benefit of the doubt, or the coach, whoever it may be, hey coach, what really happened? My son or my daughter said this to me. What happened? What's your side of the story, right? Instead of just jumping to conclusions and then going to fight, going to bat for your kid when they're wrong. You know what I mean? Or right, depending on the situation. But I don't think the kids have changed. It's the parenting. It's the parenting, man. That's why these kids are soft, because the parenting is soft.
Wow.
I'm going to keep it real, man. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So, and I know that why, because I've seen it for the last 19 years. I've seen this. So I'm speaking from firsthand experience, right? And I guess that's one thing. The second question was,
do you see any? Yeah, really, you answered it. Like the difference or commonality.
Yeah.
Like you said, they haven't changed much. Is there any difference besides the parenting that you've seen in these young people?
yeah, because social media always plays a big role in everything, right? Today.
Everybody blames it on something, right? Other than parenting and other than the home.
Social media, because now today I feel like, especially now that I've been back and I've seen a couple practices and I've coached a couple. I coached at a few spots, just waiting again in the waiting. I want to stay active. I still want to be around the game. I still would be around athletes and coaches. But it's just this. I'd rather be cool. I'd rather have content than actually be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like today's athlete is more concerned about what they're putting on their social media than they are actually putting in on the field and the time they're putting on the field. Like they want all the recognition and all the pictures uploaded or shared of these reels of them on these reels, but then they're not willing to go back on Monday at 6 a.m. in the morning and let's get after it.
Yeah.
That's what I see. Is that a lot of kids today say they want certain things, but they're not willing to work for those things that they want, right? And everyone talks about I'm different, like this whole slogan of being different. How are you supposed to be different if you're doing everything like everybody else? Yeah. The only reason why you're different is because you do things different. Yeah. So but if you move like everybody else, then how are you different? You're not different. You're fooling yourself, man.
Yeah. That's real. And in that, man, to just the message that you give, what would you say is the kind of common? You said God speaks through you, and you're the instrument. What's the common sort of life model that Coach B is living through right now? Like, what's a common theme that you're seeing? Because I'm sure as a coach, as a speaker, there's themes that kind of come up at times, and that's the one you're kind of speaking through. Is what's the motto that you live through and share with others?
To whom much is given, much is required. I've been given so much in this life, man. Now it's a responsibility for me to give all that back and some. That's where I'm coming from. Everywhere I go. When it's time for you to give back everything you've learned, even the challenges, the mess of your life, because you can't spell message without mess. You can't spell testimony without test. It's your turn to give all that back. I've been given. Now it's required for you to give it back. And that's what I try to preach and instill in my team every stop wherever I'm at. There's going to be a time for you to be the leader. There's going to be a time for you to be the voice. And what I was able to do for you, you got to do for somebody else now. Right? So, and I think too, like this, when I think of wealth, right? People define wealth differently. When I hear wealth or think about wealth, from my point of view, is relationships. So that's why I'm wealthy. Is relationships. In other words, when my kids are growing up and they come across a teacher, they come across a coach, they come across a swim instructor at the YMCA or whatever that looks like, right? A community service project or whatever they're at. And they come across a former student of mine. They come across a former player of mine. They come across a former colleague, coworker of mine. I'm going to take care of you because your dad took care of me. That's wealth for me, man, is relationships. Because what I give out and pour into other people's children, right? All I ask, I can ask for this, man, when I get it, is for my children to have people like that in their life constantly, right? So for me to be that individual for other people's parent or for other parents' kids is when they're around me, they know Coach B is going to look after them. They know I'm going to give my very best. They know I'm going to hold them to a certain standard and of excellence, and I'm going to speak life into you at the same time, right? Yeah. I just want the same thing for my children when it's time for them to give that back.
Beautiful. Hit that button, man. Hit this button. Coach is giving it, man, to truly see somebody that is grounded, that is connected, that is a light, that is a force. It truly is a blessing, brother. It truly is a blessing to be in your presence. I know you have. I've seen this in some of your content.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about this program? Connected. Is it you? Is it what you bring into the world? Talk a little bit about your platform, man.
Yeah. So I became a mental performance coach, certified mental performance coach. I felt like this will be a great opportunity for me to learn more about the mental preparation piece of performance to help my teams to perform that I'm coaching. And that's what I've been doing. And because of it, I've seen great results from it, from athletes that I've worked with for since I started this journey 5 years ago now. And because of it, I was like encouraged, hey, you need to start a podcast. It's like, okay, I don't know why I'm going to find the time to do that, yada, yada, right? And I was like, okay. And then sure enough, I just said, you know what? I think I am going to start one. So I titled it, It's Mental, Athlete Edition. So on the platform I bring in athletes, either current athletes, past athletes, and even coaches I bring in and just talk about the mentality, right? It's all mindset. So what are the 4 domains of performance? It's physical, right? The lifting, the running, the speed, training, all that stuff. It's the technique that you use. It's the tactics or the strategies, right? Game planning. And then the last one is the mental piece. So in order for you to perform to the best of your ability, you have to have all 4 of those domains in alignment. And the one that's always missing is always the mental piece. Yeah. Right. And I teach that. I'm very, very intentional about that within my own team. And there's mental strategies that I teach, from learning how to talk to yourself, not listen to yourself. Right. Understanding that if I can't control my emotions, I can't control my performance. Understanding the importance of having routines. Right. A morning routine, a PM routine, a pregame routine, a 24-hour routine before you get ready for competition or a game. What does that look like? And then within that routine, what are you doing? What does that structure look like? What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your body? I need to know all those things, right? And then just how teaching them ways to handle challenges and adversity when those moments arise, right? And more so, it's what is the biggest thing that people are struggling with today? Anxiety. So performance anxiety, nervousness, all those very things, right? So I teach them tools, mental strategies to take control in those moments when they do arise. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
That's it.
Right?
It's beautiful, man.
That's
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that the athlete is the mind, the body is just the means, right, to get to their championship. But it's definitely working with the children's mind and the youth's mind.
Oh yeah,
get them to believe.
Like I just spoke with North Salinas, one of their classes at North Salinas a couple of days ago, and I was like, I just want to speak at them. I want to teach them something. So yeah, go ahead, coach. Just do you. I was like, okay. So I taught them the strategy of self-talk, learning how to talk to yourself. So like you spoke about affirmations, right? And then when to use those affirmations. So when I have a negative thought, right, when the enemy's telling me that I'm not good enough, when I lack, I'm not smart enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not articulate enough, I don't have the background, the education. That's all the enemy discourages you from becoming who you're created to be. Rather than I take matters into my own. No, I am him. I am that dude. I will only focus on what I can control. Right? I don't listen to myself. I talk to myself. I'm amazing. Right? Whatever that looks like as far as how you want to talk to yourself, but knowing when to use self-talk in the moments you need it most.
That's it.
Right? And then we train for that. Like I purposely run my guys in practice, get them extremely exhausted and tired. Then we run plays. So I'll get them tired because I need you to talk to yourself during that.
Fourth quarter. It's like that fourth quarter training.
Yes.
Like you don't need to train for the first 2 minutes. You need to be available for the last. Be available, right? Like some people are not even available. Like I'm not even emotionally into it, and the body doesn't work. Like if you cannot perform in the fourth quarter, like that's what are we talking about, right? The last 2 minutes, those teams you see, those teams that just close it out and make it look so easy, and you're like, man, the other team wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
They weren't out even. They left. Yeah, that's real, man.
And I practice it myself. Like when I have engagements, when I have to speak in front of an audience, I still get nervous. I still get anxious, but I have a routine.
What's your routine? I want to know this. What's the routine before the stage?
I take
Talk to me.
I practice my breathing, right? I do a Navy SEAL box breathing where I inhale for 5 seconds, I hold for 5, and I release for 5. And then I talk to myself during that whole time. It's like, no, you're prepared. You're ready.
Let's do the breathing.
Okay.
Let's get it. Let's walk us through it.
Okay. So we inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it again. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's all controlled. And I do this with our team before our games. It's part of our pre-game routine. And then we say things like, I inhale confidence, exhale fear. I inhale confidence, exhale doubt.
Wonderful.
Give that round of applause one more time, man. Jeez.
That's amazing, bro. That's so
That is
amazing.
real. Yeah, I have my routine, man, and we were just having a conversation about process and knowing, and having a team. I get to travel with these two blessed, incredible individuals. And the funny part, right, is just like the locker room. Like you get to start knowing he needs this space, he needs this space, and we know each other's kind of process because at the end of the day, when we show up on that stage, everybody's accountable for their process, and we show up and execute. We're all leaving our families. I say we don't leave the house to look for comfort, right? We're going out here on a damn mission. Like I don't want anything to be easy. We know it's not going to be easy, and we just flow into it. As the game as you're giving the game so much, 19 years of giving your heart, giving your time, giving your energy to the game. What has the game given? What has the game given, Coach?
Financial stability, where I'm able to provide. It's given me purpose and fulfillment. It's given me relationships that I can only be done through the game of football or teaching in the classroom. It's given me so many people that I've met that are mentors now, people I go to as confidants if I need an answer to a question or just some perspective. That's what it's given to me, man. Is people in my corner who I can learn from, lean on, trust, and then give that back. So it's just, man.
That's some wealth right there.
It's beautiful.
100%.
Let's give that one more time.
That's some wealth.
All right, my brother.
Man. I gotta say, what's been in your coaching career? 19 years is a long time. Blessed. There's a lot of blessings, I like to call them, in that lessons.
Yep.
But once we find out what it is, it becomes a blessing. What's been your favorite match? Who's been, your favorite battle? Which team? What coach? Who's been the one that's kind of pushed you to become a better coach?
Well, I'm gonna say two coaches because they whooped my butt. Well, not my butt, our butts in both the CCS game, semifinal game, which is Carmel, Coach Golden Anderson out there in Carmel.
Golden. Yeah.
He's a good coach.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
People could say what they want about that dude, but he gets his kids ready to play some football, man, and he does it at a high level and with the limited resources as well. So I got to give him his flowers, man, because he has earned them.
Right on.
He doesn't need my flowers for anything, but I'm just saying, you ask the question, I'll give you the answer, right?
Yeah.
But they have a lot of respect for that, for what he's done in the game of football and as a leader. And then the coach that just beat us in the state championship game. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Coach Levi. Yeah,
Right on.
So I would say those just because they whoop me up, man. And the game's a beautiful thing to where you experience victory and defeat, right? Mm-hmm. And you learn more from those defeats than you ever do the wins. So both those gentlemen, both those coaches have really motivated me to be even better because of those lessons that they taught me.
That's right on.
Yeah.
That's right on.
Yeah, right
That's
on.
a beautiful question, man. That's a beautiful question. So as we kind of wrap this conversation up, man, for somebody to dedicate their lives to impacting others and sharing your gifts and sharing your time, sharing your energy, we absolutely thank you. And we always like to welcome you. So this is part one. So we know that this is part one.
Okay.
And we want to continue this relationship with you because as I heard it already, a few people were like, man, you guys need to do something together. Like there's your guys' energy. You guys need to just be in there. So I look forward. I look forward to seeing your journey, seeing your growth. And with that, we brought you some gifts because of course we want to hook you up.
Since it's winter time, we got a nice little beanie here with the shield.
Beautiful.
Strong mind, strong body, strong heart. That's what the 3 stands for.
Very good.
Then we got some clean.
Call heart too.
Some socks. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and show them. I don't think they've seen this is a brand new little product right here.
That's it. That's it.
Then we got an amazing Mindset Academy.
Yes, sir.
Established 2020 during the
Beautiful.
tough times.
Yes,
The
sir.
back says, go ahead and read it for us, Coach.
It takes a strong mind to support a big dream.
Yeah,
That's
that's
for you,
for you.
Coach.
That's for
Thank
you.
What's up?
Last, we got a canister, brand new
Super
canister of
greens, baby.
super greens. G'd up super greens. Make you feel G'd up.
That's
Right
it.
in the morning.
That's it. First thing in the morning, man. You
Daily
want to make
nutrition
sure.
improves your gut health. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
right,
Let's
man.
go. And of course,
Congratulations,
you get to
Coach.
take the cup with you,
right.
man.
Cup.
We'll hook you up with a couple of them. Give some to the wifey and to the family, man. We truly appreciate your presence, man. And
We're blessed to have you back in Salinas, bro.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, really
831.
seeing you out there in Colorado. I mean, I was just following you from afar. I'm like, man, when you know, he lives out there now. Now, I'm so happy that you're back.
Yeah, me too, man.
Salinas is gonna, or wherever you go, they're gonna be blessed, man. They're gonna be blessed to have you there.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
It's amazing, man.
a true example of somebody who goes all in. Like a true example of somebody who goes all in. I think many people focus more on the next stage or the next, and it can dilute the now in a sense, right? So for anybody asking what you're doing next, I'm not going to ask you what you're doing next, man. I know you're doing it now. I know wherever you're stepping into, you're a man with intention, and this is what you're doing. You're relaxing.
Yes, sir.
You're finding your peace and presence and patience. So we appreciate you. At the end of the episode, we usually we want to ask you, do you want to give a shout out to anybody, or can anybody look for you, find you, to be able to provide some of your services for them? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they contact me on all my social media platforms. It's Coach A Berlanga. Coach A Berlanga. So Coach A Berlanga. Social media.
Wonderful.
That's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach A, bro.
Yeah.
Website, anything?
I have a website. It's called artberlanga.com. artberlanga.com. So just my name, and that's just my mental training that I provide services for the teams. But now I'm at the point to where I rarely do one-on-one training now just because of time. I'm more doing the team engagements now and those gigs where teams bring me in and I coach their team on mental strategy, everything I mentioned a little earlier about self-talk, routines, visualization, self-reflection, ownership, the process, all those very things I teach that to other teams as well. So
Wonderful.
That's beautiful, man.
wonderful.
Thank you for what you do, man. So yeah, at the end we do a little reflection, and kind of just what was this experience like? So fellas, if you guys want to kick it off.
Yeah, I to have someone with like such like a what's the word, like a killer mindset. Like you've shown a great example of team building, team effort, and like the way that your perspective on things is. I mean, I love it, bro. Like I love the mindset and
Yes, sir.
everything that you've done.
Come
So
on.
thank you.
thank you.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
I gotta the takeaway for me is the the passion that you have on the field. You also carry that everywhere you go. And I mean, I've seen your videos. I followed you for a long time.
Okay.
I consider you family because I know Rolly's your
Yes,
cuz, right?
right.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I didn't, you guys are family. That's so sick. So wonderful, man. I really appreciate the passion that you come with. And I know that the youth really feeds off of it. They, and there's not a lot of coaches that carry that. And they maybe do carry that when they light up on the field, but I can see that you carry that everywhere you go, bro.
Thank
And I
you, bro.
appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, man.
Amen, my man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and your
Amazing.
energy levels too is. Yeah.
He's like, yeah. What was it like for you, Coach? What was it like to be here with us, spending some time with us?
I've been following the things that you guys been doing too, right? And I was like, man, I can't wait to be in the same room with somebody who can not match my energy or match the passion, but just to be in the same room who's passionate about the same things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And just giving. That's all we're here to do is to serve.
Yeah.
That's what we're here, right? You're
That's
sharing.
it.
You're just sharing and serving through this platform, right? And just to be in a room with guys who are just as passionate, that have the same vision. It's just empowering, man. It's empowering.
It is empowering. It is empowering because hearing your story that you were an introvert. I mean, we've
I know,
all
yeah,
had
yeah.
this conversation.
I'm an introvert,
Hey, man, we're doing this because no one else stepped up.
Hey, we say we're introverts with extrovert purpose, right?
Like,
Like, man,
amazing. And
I gotta go
love
outside
that.
for
I love
that.
Let's go.
Well, it just shows you too. Like he never calls a qualified. He always calls the unqualified and makes them qualified.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Gotta
And
go
we're-
through that learning.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And for me, it's been a journey of less of what I like to do and do more of what I'm responsible for doing. Like this is just I'm doing it as a responsibility. That's when it kicks in. That's when it's like I don't really want to be here. Like, it's not about me wanting to be here, man. Trust me, I don't want to be here either. And then we just kind of, laugh it off and kind of go through it and grind it out. But man, seeing somebody, again, to your point, who's taking the principles of the game and giving it to anybody and they can apply. I'm energized and enthusiastic about you stepping into the mental game of it because I know you bringing that light, that voice, the experience, the story, bringing all of that in and then being able to put it together into that mental piece that I know often gets brought up as separate from health, right? It's like mental health is separate from the rest of it, and it's like it's all interconnected. And the voices are happening in the mind, right? Are happening in the mind. So I know that if we can influence and infiltrate, in a sense, as individuals, and speak God's voice into others, I know that that's where we're really making an impact and we're really making a change. And it's just amazing to see another instrument who's tuned up and just really letting these kids know that they're not broken. They're just out of tune a little bit. They're just out of tune, and working that in and finding and helping them find their path also their ability to also have their relationship with God. Right. And that's really what it's all about. We're just all leading each other in the best way that we know how. Man. So I appreciate you being here. So at the end of every single episode, we have this motto. We have this motto right here, and that is be a savage and go after your wildest dreams. So the way it works is he'll say it first, then it could be Coach Roy, and then you'll go ahead and finish it off, and then we'll be done, man. You guys ready?
Yes, sir. Be a savage and go after your wildest dreams.
Be a savage and go after your wildest dreams.
Be a savage. Go after your wildest dreams.
That's right. Be a savage and go after your wildest dreams. Glamorous Grind Podcast. Let's go.